stand for the pledge. Yes, sir. He looked at me like he had something to say. I want to make sure that everybody's clear. This is a public meeting. It's for the business of this district. Public comments are allowed. Public comments. There'll be no interrogation. There'll be no name calling, no finger pointing. It won't happen. It's over with. There's no reason for it. It happens nowhere. There's no board meeting anywhere in this country that I am aware of that you can do that. And it stopped last week. You come up, you say what you got to say, you sit down, we give you an answer, and you move on. It's called public comment. That's what it is. It's not interrogation, insult someone. It's not going to happen. So I just want to make sure we're clear. So everybody understand English. ¿Alguien no entiende inglés? ¿Ustedes no entienden inglés?
Poco.
Okay, bueno. Que lo que dije.
I understand you not
Okay. Okay, I just want to make sure we're all clear because it's not going to happen. Okay, we're going to do what we have to do here. Everybody's entitled to say what they need to say, but we're not accusing, interrogating, calling anybody a liar. Not going to happen. All right. With all that being said, let's stand for the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the
United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Roll call pledge. Additions or deletions, substitutions to the agenda items. I guess everything's here is what it is. Adoption of agenda. Adoption of agenda. Approval of regular budget meeting minutes, November 17th meeting. So we need a motion to.
Motion.
Yes. Aye. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we adopted the minutes for the previous meeting. Public comment. Kim,
Clemens, yes.
say that again?
Clemens.
Okay.
Clemens.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kim Clemens, I live at 648 First Club Avenue, and I really just have 3 questions. Just wondering about the status of the DOT material for the road repairs, status of golf cart driving approval, and concern about the mailbox building safety. You know, what if someone is getting their mail and the roof falls on them?
Okay. I can handle one of those real quickly. The mailboxes do not belong to Central County. We've been looking for this, for a letter from many years ago.
Okay.
Central County let the post office put that on that property. It is not ours, we do not maintain it, and it keeps being thrown our way, and it is not our responsibility, number one. Number two, legally, I don't even think we're allowed to fool with it
So
anyway.
if the roof falls on someone, who will they sue?
The post office.
Oh, you got the letter?
Okay.
Oh,
Not something else.
We've,
okay.
Central County, you know, we're trying to get everything done with all the growth we have. We're short of money, and everyone seems to want to put their troubles, I don't mean yours, I get it, that we're, you know, believe me, everybody suffers, but we can't undertake that project. First of all, I don't even think it's within the realm of what we can do, and second of all, it is the post office.
So it really should be condemned, because
Yeah.
we don't want anybody to get hurt.
Right. Again, they keep running around circles and dodging it, and we've been looking for the paper. There's an agreement here that's a little more in detail than that, but that one pretty much tells the story right there. All that Central County ever agreed to was letting them use the land, and I believe pay for electricity, because it's right there, you know, the clubhouse. The rest of it was theirs. So, any suggestions, Joe?
No, actually, after you came last month, I went and took a look at you're right. It is borderline unsafe. If you had any kind of hurricane or heavy winds, I mean, that thing is gone. And honestly, I solve problems for a living. This one, I don't know what to tell you. Water control district, and I'm gonna talk about this golf cart issue, because they're very similar.
Okay.
So this is a water control district. So they were created by this statute, chapter 298. So we're called a creature, so a city or a county can do anything they want unless there's a law that prohibits them. They have a lot of authority. We're the opposite of the point. This water control district can only do what the statute authorizes us to do, which is flood control, roads, that's right, and recreation. That's what's in the statute. Building a mail facility, although it's really needed, I don't understand why there's not, the post office isn't stepping up. I don't get it. Never dealt with this issue before, but that's the problem. And the thing of it is too, if these guys decide, it's not up to me, but if you build a mail facility, then you gotta maintain it. And when you build a mail facility, you have to meet hurricane standards. You just can't put up a tent. You can't just put up a roof. It's gotta now, you're talking, it's gotta be designed because of the reasons you said. People are gonna be there to prevent liability. You're gonna have to design it to hurricane standards. I don't know how much money it costs to get an engineer to design it and then build it and then maintain it forever.
Can we just repair the roof, the parts damage, just to make it safe?
I don't know what's entailed, that's beyond my.
Can't you put like a shed, like the Stanton mobile homes, the hurricane straps and?
We can we repair the part of the roof, damage, just to make it safe?
We can do a lot of things as long as you guys approve it, because we have nothing to do with USPS.
And there's
That's
the
the main
problem.
problem.
There's the problem. Everybody always backs away from their obligation, and it always sits on us. And we can barely keep up with growth. We can't fix everybody's problem. It's a terrible thing to say, but the reality is we don't have the budget. We don't have the means to continue. They wanted to put these little things on the side of the road for years where the kids sit in lights, and it's a beautiful thing. I get it, but the people that needed to do that walk away from it. So then it got thrown in our lap. It's just not. It's not within our realm. It's not what we.
Our city was saying, at least repair the part that damage, to make it safe.
The minute you repair it, you just fall apart.
No, but just repair, we agree with both on it, repair the parts that are damaged, so I don't want to see them out there, one of the residents.
I have a question. Is it built on Central County property?
Yes, so the paper that I've been showing is, Benny asked me, because he remembers many years ago when something about the USPS and Central County. So back in 2019, the post office came to our meeting asking permission from Central County to put a building around the mailboxes. They were already there. So we did not put the building by, that's what the minute says, back in 2000.
So originally the mailboxes were out in the open, and the post office wanted a room and.
By what this says, I suppose, I wasn't here, at that time. I suppose it was just like every other community that has a lot of mailboxes, but no building around. If you want, I can give you a copy of it. The highlight
I wrote a letter to Mario Diaz-Balart, the congressman, over a year ago. It was a board who told me, I wrote a letter, and we put a petition up on the website so that people could copy it and send it to their congressman, hoping that he would pick up the phone and call somebody at the post office, regional office in Florida and say, hey, help these people out.
Well, we found those minutes back in the old file. I mean, that goes back to 1999. And it clearly says that the USPS came to ask the board to let them put a building around the mailbox.
It's right there. And they did, that's what they did, I remember, it's always been there.
So who will condemn the building?
I believe,
The county. The county?
I believe we should repair the parts that are damaged to make it safe. So we don't get nobody hurt in there, and we'll go from there. We're loyal to the.
Yeah, I want to correct one thing. We are not getting anybody hurt. We do not own the post office. First thing, very important, you can't assume liability for something that's not yours, it's theirs. They put it up, they do not want to spend any money on it. I don't get it, but it's their liability. At the end of the day, it's theirs.
But it's on Central County's land.
Exactly. So maybe
The
we,
lawyers say, hey, you can sue that,
there's the agreement right there.
everybody.
There's the agreement right there. The problem is, when the school board doesn't want to do what they're supposed to do, we can't pay. When the post office doesn't want, that's the way it's been as long as I've been here. No one wants to do what they're supposed to do out here, and it always falls on us. We do not have the resources, we do not have the money, and unfortunately, I tell you, I hate to say it, but, the congressman, the postmaster general, people, we gotta start calling them, go to the county, see if the county will condemn it, and maybe then they'll step up and do something. But it's not something that we can do. Yeah, building and zoning, definitely. And maybe that'll get their attention. Unfortunately, it's just the way it's always been. And I don't know what these guys want to do, but I don't know how we can even do it.
I know that Ulysses, he said it's a county-wide thing, that they're trying to fix something on the mailboxes. I haven't reached out to him regarding that. I've been talking to him regarding the reservoir. So I'll mention it to him to see where the county's objective is on getting those mailbox facilities county-wide and see where we're at, and then give you feedback next board meeting to see what he says on that.
And I also was told, I don't know if it's true, that they were fixing the one in Pioneer.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's true. I heard it from somebody.
In the county?
I was told that the county was fixing the one in Pioneer it's not just here, it's everywhere. So, I don't know. It could be true, it may not be, but that's what I was told. All right, so you gonna look into that?
Yeah.
Can we make a motion?
Do a motion, we need a motion.
Giving,
You want a chance to look into it before we vote on this, or how do you wanna do it?
Yeah, I'm gonna contact him. 'Cause
Yeah, he's gonna contact.
It was something that we were looking into a while ago.
somebody's repairing the one by here. I don't know if it's the county.
A while ago, we were looking to see who was responsible for the facility, and it was it's not ours, it's this person, it's not ours, it's this person. And then when the carrier who'd been dealing with the mail, Anna, came in about the partial lockers, I took the initiative to get them there, because that was a gift from someone who gave it to us.
Now you mention it, let me make a statement. I have received complaints from a few residents that they have to go to town to get the package. They have no package boxes in the mailboxes.
Well, I received plenty of packages.
Including myself. Yeah, because we put 60 new package boxes. Why we have to go to town to get boxes?
That's the post office.
Yeah.
No. 60 new boxes of packages. They should leave the packages there.
Well, that's, again, not trying to be anything other than the truth. That's not something that we have control over here. We're just,
That's all because you know, when it goes out,
and I'll tell you something. The
well,
county's all the county's gonna do is either fix it or not fix it.
so maybe you can talk to them and see what is going on with the 60 new boxes. So packages in there.
I'll look into
All right,
it.
so we'll visit. Next meeting, we'll talk about it. Make it very, very brief. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I just wanted to touch on the subject about the mailboxes. whenever I worked here, we used to paint them and maintain them and stuff. I don't know if he was supposed to or not, but I
Yeah,
did.
we weren't, because I remember over 20, many years ago, when the first agreement was, they were putting the boxes, you know, can we use that property? The paper has disappeared, but even then, there's the email. They're asking permission to build a building on top of it. Did we pay it? I'm sure we did, but, you know, we can't. We don't have the money. We just don't. And again, this is nothing new. It's happened for years. These entities don't want to do what they're supposed to do, and they want to throw it on this one, and this one just doesn't have the money. So we gotta pressure the post office. That's your congressman, your representative is the right way to go. When he starts getting phone calls and letters, maybe he'll push them into doing something. All right. So let's move along. Old business. We vote on the permit of the C-139 drainage.
I think that's the agreement with Congress.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, so I drafted an agreement for Carney.
That's actually on the agenda.
Yeah, this is the.
I'm going by what I got here, so.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're on the agenda, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Bennett reviewed it and approved it. So we just need to bring it to Mr. Carney.
Okay.
I don't have his number or email, or, I don't know if you want to, you have kind of a close relationship with him, if you want to call him.
I'll gladly call him and get him to come up. I mean, I don't want to take it to him to sign it. He's sign it here, right, in front of somebody. Or if not, I can call him, meet him down there, he can sign it, and however y'all want to do it.
I don't have a copy, but if you could give him a copy, he'll have him sign it. Is it in here? I didn't see it. Maybe it's-
No, I think I left some more. Give me 1 second, I'll be right back.
This is why we always have to thank Becky.
Yeah, keep everything in
But yeah, so it's ready to go. We just need to reach out to him. You know, I put in there that every 3 years, we could revisit the cost, because, you know, cost, O&M goes up.
What was the final word? What was the final amount?
35.
I don't think we ever talked about 35. I thought we talked about 15 to 25.
You just change the number.
Yeah, okay, yeah, because you know, we don't want to kill him. He agreed to do it, and no, you know, he agrees it's the right thing to do, and if we'd have gotten, just think about it, if we'd have gotten,
We don't know.
It's a $3 million property, right? 10,000 an acre,
Yeah.
100 acres,
I don't know, could be.
more or less.
So you figure,
Yeah,
if
3,500 bucks is,
he paid 25, he paid 2,500 for the 7 years we talked about, we had 17.5 on this side, which were more than paid for it, you know, so I don't know, I don't want to kill him, but I
that's up to
definitely.
you. You know, you can change that's just one number, you can change
Yeah.
it, and you got the agreement.
3,500, I think it's fair.
That's,
Yeah.
Because, we have.
Just remember, you may not sign it, because we told him no more than 2,500, he agreed to it, so when he gets 3,500, he may not want to sign it. And then, you know what happens,
this,
then we gotta start
there,
chasing.
you scratch it out,
Yeah.
2,500.
Well, I don't wanna do it without.
Initial it.
Yeah, I don't want to do it without the board, you know, I don't want them to say, hey, well, who told you you could do this? I want to make sure everybody understands. The number I said was 15 to 25, and that's why I asked.
So maybe you
And
should pick a
So
number.
if y'all are good with it, however y'all want to do it.
I remember if we said that, it was about $10,000 because of the,
Fuel, it might have been more than that, but there's a lot of variables there, y'all, I'm telling you. There's gates across the road that were not, the little gates that we put behind the concrete, they wasn't sealed properly. That water comes right across the road, goes into his property, goes into the canal coming directly to us all day long. That's why we blocked them. All that has to be fixed before we get ready.
let's make it 3,000.
So I told him 25, I'm just saying. I mean, you know, I
No, you
don't
don't.
even want to take the
You don't.
agreement back to him, because I told him one thing and I was gonna say, I don't like doing it, so.
So you'll be within 2,500.
25 is what him and I agreed, that's what I thought everybody here agreed.
It's better than nothing. It's
No, it's not, it's a good amount. If you do the math,
Yeah.
if we'd have had that money from 7 or 8 years ago, we'd be in good shape right now.
So,
And it may be 7 or 8 years before this happens
you're
again, so
talking
we'll be in
about
good shape. again.
2,500 every how long?
I will change the agreement if everyone agrees. I'll put in 2,500. Like I said, I have,
Or-
the way I've written it, it's every 3 years. It could, doesn't have to be,
Right.
it could be increased.
So it's gonna be 2,500 every year?
Yes.
Yes, or I could just take it and do what you said, additional.
Payable on February 1st of each year.
That's what he told me. Does anybody know of any rates out there that, I mean, what people pay an acre on cattle land? I really don't
So
know.
he has no drainage,
None,
no pumps.
nothing.
So if someone came to you and said, you don't have to spend any money on grading, getting your elevations, structures, pump,
Right.
I'd take that deal.
Oh, yeah. He'll go for the 2,500 because he grumbled, but he agreed to it. And so, you know, I think he'll get the job done. Yes,
I'll
sir.
say, is this a property that's over here by Appaloosa?
Yes, sir.
Well, what do y'all charge the people here in Montour for drainage per acre?
It's a good question.
And then what is, how many
Do we have
acres does he have?
Do we have a breakdown of what it is? I mean, we know what the total number is. You can't charge him what we pay, there's no way to it.
Right, no, I understand, but just
Yeah.
if we could be somewhere maybe a quarter of that, because, I mean, if you have an acre and a quarter, you're gonna pay maybe $200 something, maybe $100 and something, and then somebody next to us that could discharge a lot of water this way. And plus, I mean, there's agriculture under the cattle and stuff, all the phosphorus and stuff. I mean, we had to deal with all that.
Yeah.
So,
That's actually a
Well,
good point too.
yes.
Getting that phosphorus, I mean, but he's in our C-139 permit. That's what, when we
the
realized,
sheet flows our direction.
right? Right. That's when we realized, at least the Water Management
Right.
District says we are connected, you know,
Yes.
hydrologically.
We have to accept his water whether we like it or not. So,
Right,
Weekly, I remember I was here when we started this with Weekly. Weekly agreed to something and then said, you know what, I'm not paying it, come and get me. You know what that's gonna cost? So, let's start at 2,500, see how it works. Like you said, in 3 years we'll revisit it and everything you said, and let me tell you something, all down that north side of his property, our water goes on to him, his water comes on to us. And I've said it before I left 2 years ago, let's start putting just a little bit of dirt through, you know,
Yeah.
just 2 feet. Every chance we get, if we'd have done it then, we'd be done now. So it's separated and there's no issue, but, I mean, and the water coming across the road, it comes right across the road on his and into ours, I mean.
yeah.
So anyway, the guy's willing, is not fighting it, I say we nail it down and we adjust as we go.
Weekly, we paid, was it 1 or 2 times he paid it? I heard that was about 2,000.
Yeah, I heard it was 1,000, we need to look it up, but I do know that the person I told you came to a very good source. He said, I gave it to him as a gift, I wasn't gonna do it no more. And, you know, but he knew it. He could fight this for how long, meanwhile, we're sharing, you know, if we'd have had the $2,500 for the last 7 years, since he's been there, we'd have had the money to cover the fuel cost for this pump. And we may not have it for another 7 years, so let's secure this, I say we secure it, get the deal done, if you want me to, I'll take it like it is, we'll scratch it out like you said, and move on. If the board doesn't mind, and let's get it done, I don't wanna waste anyone's
It's
time.
fine. I think it's fine.
Okay,
And John, he does have to meet certain criteria by him being in that permit with us. He has to have limited stocking rates for his cattle. He's got to limit the fertilizer he puts out and all kind of. he's
Does
got-
he have cattle?
Yeah,
yeah, he's got some counts.
he's got regulations, he's got a,
Is that on the permit, is that?
yeah,
Well, then so be it, he can read it, because that's not us,
yeah.
that's the water district, management, or,
Right.
right. So our agreement is, he's gonna pay to dump water on us, which he's dumping for free now.
Yeah,
The rest of it is the water management, it's not ours, we don't
Right.
make the shot, okay.
But it just.
As long as it's in writing, yeah.
Not terrible.
as long as it's in writing.
Yep,
He could-
All right.
he controls it.
so do we need, already voted, I'm just, we need the motion that we're gonna adjust
Yeah.
yeah, we need a motion to adjust it to 2,500.
Motion.
Aye.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carried, I'll take it to the. All right, so that takes care of that. The mailbox discussion, I think we've already had it. We're good with that. Wow, this is going fast. District manager's report. He's gone. Engineer.
Okay, last meeting, I had asked to, or I think Mr. Mata asked to get an estimate for, paving of Dale and Kennel. I did a rough estimate of those two roads, to bring them up to grade and pave them. Both are virtually the same, we're looking at roughly $2.8 billion. Each of those roads.
2.8 each road?
For each road.
Yeah, that's.
He also wanted me to get an estimate for the perimeter. That was, I didn't get an estimate for the paving, but I did estimate bringing it up to grade, put the rock on it, way on both sides, one on the south side. And that one is roughly 3 miles long. And just to do all that work, nothing cheap.
Yeah, no, he's.
We have good credit with the bank, correct? So we were gonna pull out a financial loan to get a contract with another company and pay them overtime to get these roads done. Is that possible? Feasible?
You're gonna borrow over $1 million. Get a bond, get some kind of funding. It's all got to be paid back.
No, of course.
We're paying on one now for the right.
But something has to give. And we can't, because of the number, we'll just get scared of it. We have to either start the project in segments and phases, or one of those two. So we can look at some options by next month with these, with this rough draft, to see what we have or what we can do to start it in phases, do half a quarter of it on both ends and see, over time, eventually get to the middle, and see how it financially can be sound for us so we don't go in the negative, but as well as getting the job done if that's something we can work on.
Do we have an estimate of the cost, like per mile of, you talk about putting a crown?
Yeah, I'm talking about the whole 9 yards.
We said close to $1 million, that's what we have about if we do this.
2.8.
No. The paving was 2.8. The rocking the road was almost $1 million, you said, right? Yeah. Right.
It's
The perimeter.
You said Deerfield and Kennel, only the pavement, 2.8.
Three miles. How many miles on the pavement?
$10 million won't touch this place.
We need to build it.
No, we don't, we really don't. We don't have to. The perimeter we need to do something with, I get it, it's in bad shape. As far as the paving,
I agree with you.
that's not even in our horizon.
And we can't do it.
We can't.
Yes, maybe that's what we need to do. Bite the
need to
bullet,
start.
yeah, bite the bullet and start, hell, and how would you determine what's the worst part of that? That road's a disaster any way you look at it.
Because we're wasting more money over time maintaining it with more DOT certified dirt, and if we start it in segments, by 2026, 7, whatever it may be, we should be at least some partial done.
What do you think, Flacco, where do you got any ideas where you wanna start? I mean, you can just about, what's the most populated part of that road, if that makes any sense, you know?
Well-
Where is it driven the most? That would maybe be the way to start.
We talking about perimeter.
Perimeter, yeah, the pavement, I did went in one ear and out the other, that's,
Perimeter is basically the same from one end to the other.
there's no area, there's more people in than
One
the
house
other.
here, one house there, maybe close to Hacienda, you got more people on the quarter mile, but it's all about the same.
So we're gonna, you guys wanna look into borrowing some money, is what you wanna do to get this done?
Start the project, we have to do something.
John, what do you recommend?
And figure out how much we're talking about, I mean, the borrow.
Let's just go ahead and get the $1 million and get it over with. Don't buy the book, just buy it hard.
Thank you, make a motion.
We need a motion on the floor?
Motion on the floor.
Second.
Aye.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's look into it and see let us know what it's gonna take. Okay, so, that's it for the engineer report. My heart can't take it anymore. Give it.
I went out and looked at that. Basically, his issue is pretty much the same as every other issue. These other roads, the swale needs to be regraded. This is over, full of dirt. Both ends have been crushed, so there's no way anyone can get to it. So the swale's not breaking.
Do we know why is there any, do you have any idea why it's being crushed? I mean, why they're crushed? If they're full of sand, I know that's one.
Yeah.
That's not anything anyone did wrong.
No. It's been there so long, it's an old road.
It's just,
It could have been trucks, driving in and out of the driveway, cars driving in and out, hitting the edge. It could have been our mowing machines over the years, sometimes they'll get the end of the culvert. Could have been the rain, could have been any number of things. You drive down the road,
Yeah.
start looking at the end of the culvert.
yeah.
Probably the majority of them have some damage to them.
So I don't know that we have a clear policy on this. I'm, for some reason I can't remember. Are we responsible? Is the landowner responsible?
I looked into that, the landowner is responsible for it. What his statement was, that it was from one of our machines, so that if we were liable for it. But moving forward in that degree, his is not the only culvert that's like that.
That's why I'm
So,
asking.
yeah,
A lot
so,
of
when we start on our swell project, we have to come up with a system in place, either a payment system for the landowner, stating, we're working on swells, we're gonna have to remove it, it is blocking the waterway, and giving them the opportunity to, put a new culvert there. They're gonna have to get replaced regardless of anything, but it comes down to who's gonna replace them, and how is the process gonna get done. I came up with a payment system for that, because at the end of the day, we're gonna have to go in there as being Central County Water being one of our main things, ripping them out, replacing it, and, giving them the payment notice, saying, hey, here's a payment system, we did replace it, we put a new one, and if they don't pay for it, it's like taxes, we're gonna have to figure some legal option, put in a lien or whatever it may be, on them because of the payment. For too long, we're saying, oh, it's the landowner's problem, let them fix it, but at
They're
the
not gonna
same,
fix it.
they're not gonna fix it. And
I
at the
get it.
same degree, our neighboring water districts that have this problem, they don't wait for them, they go in there, rip it out, and they give them a notice saying your culvert was not up to code, bring it up to code, and they leave it there. But we're very understanding of our community, so we're working out a system with them, and I think that's the best option, is a payment plan. to help them pay for it in that time.
Well, we're not, first thing is, if we do it, we're not out there to make a profit off of it.
No, we're not.
So we're gonna do it cheaper than anyone's gonna do it that they get.
Yep.
If they do it themselves, I agree with you. We're doing it, we're there anyway, it's not gonna take us long. Just cover our costs, and, you know, maybe they, depending on how much the cost is, they can pay it over 3 or 4 years, or 3 years, depending on.
We approved that we can, put a new culvert, and, we're gonna charge them.
No, that was an idea, that it was a suggestion that I bring on that meeting
But we approved
about giving the,
the option.
giving payments to the people that are, in more needs, or with disabilities, or, stuff like that, on different amount of payments. But everybody was gonna be able to,
Utilize the payment.
yes, utilize the
That's what
payment.
I'm saying, we approve it,
No,
that we can build, put a new culvert for them,
no.
if they request it. We didn't approve it?
No, we can't, and that's not up to them. If we get in that boat, we're gonna be in trouble. We need to get there, we need to evaluate it, give them an option to do it themselves, or we'll do it, and then build it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, we're gonna have a notified system, we're gonna notify them of way in advance saying we're starting this project. Your culvert will be inspected, if it needs to be changed out, you'll be notified from this date, it'll be removed. And then moving forward in that degree, it's up to them to get it replaced during that time frame. If they don't, we're gonna replace it, and they'll be handed an invoice with our payment system.
And they can pay monthly.
Yeah. Saying, hey, you
yeah,
paid
that's,
this.
listen,
Stuff like
there
that.
may, there may be people that, maybe, John, you stop me if I'm wrong, but there may be people here that don't have the means.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll have to do it on a one-to-one basis, and I don't know if it's even a good idea, and say, these people are older, retired, and ain't gonna get it, and just eat it. But not every one of them, but.
No, we have to make sure that they have the need.
Yeah, in some cases, we may have to, but.
How are you gonna, you can't, if you say, make sure they have the need, what, are you gonna look at their income tax return?
Sure.
Who's gonna do that?
Why not?
Financing.
They can bring it over here and.
All right, then here we go, we need a motion, to carry this thing straight across.
With tax returns.
So somebody has to, if they have the need. How are we gonna find out? We have to find out. They have the need.
All right, let's.
Yeah.
So the way it's typically done.
Okay.
If you offer me free money, in other words, no financing, no finance costs, I'm gonna take it every day. Whether I have $1 billion in the bank or $1, I'm taking that every day. So the way, like our homes, the way we, if you can afford to pay it, it's better to pay it. If you can't afford to pay it, then you'll get payment terms. But there should be some cost, and we're gonna have to borrow the money, so that people who can afford it are gonna pay for it. And those that really can't afford it will pay some finance costs.
Right.
We should have a system.
But that's kind of.
To find out.
We've got to review it, but now,
How are you
you
gonna
have
tell
to
that?
hire another person who's an accountant who
There you go.
can review
That's how I
thousands of
That's
tax
how
returns.
we can.
Well, either way, you're gonna have to, if you do what I said, you're gonna have to do it, do what you say.
No, that's, I'm not saying.
Because
don't
you're
get
saying-
into people's business.
Right.
When-
So we just-
They choose. We don't choose for them, they choose.
So we give them the opportunity to replace it, or we will, and everybody's assuming.
Yep,
No, yeah, but you can.
flat rate.
Yeah, but if we finance it for
We're
them,
gonna
there'll be a
do-
cost.
There'll be a cost for, I got you.
So
You
if
can
you
save by
afford
paying it, right.
If you can afford
Okay,
it.
that
you'll
makes
pay
sense,
for it.
that makes sense, all right.
Charge a reasonable interest rate.
Right,
When somebody's
reasonable
got
for the-
money and don't-
Exactly.
As long as you wanna pay the interest rate, they're gonna pay you
That
now.
way we don't have to get into their personal business, because I'd be offended, you ask me for my tax.
All right, so we need a motion, gentlemen.
Motion.
We need a second.
What is exactly a motion for? Well,
That we are going, that the culverts that have to be replaced, we're gonna give the owner the option to replace them. And if not, we will replace them as we go through there doing what we're doing, and they're gonna be billed for it. And I guess we have to figure out a payment plan. First thing we need to figure out is what it's gonna cost us to do it, and then see how we break it up, maybe over 3 years, 5 years, 2 years, right.
We can avoid you.
So, that's the thing, the cost it is, we don't have,
I had one.
we don't have to, worry about the cost. I mean, we don't have to sit here and figure out the cost of the ladder because we don't know what it's gonna be, but if that motion includes all that, then we can set it up from there.
How many driveway culverts are there, more or less?
I make a motion.
I'm not sure.
All right, we got a second?
It's a lot of them.
We got a second?
No second? It's your idea.
It is my idea, but we have to make sure we have all the chickens in the coop before we make. a
Well,
decision.
we're agreeing to go ahead and get all this information. Otherwise, we're gonna make doing this for the next
We have a
6
second.
If, we'll reassess it next meeting with the information.
Okay, so,
We do.
yeah, it works for me. It's sooner or
We
later.
can't,
we-
I don't wanna bring a motion onto it, it is a degree, I don't wanna bring a motion onto it if we don't have numbers in place. Right now, we're just, it's a program that does need to
Yeah,
get
but
started.
we're making a motion to give authorization to Mr. Meeting to find out how much it costs. That's the motion, right?
No.
Nobody said.
The motion is for me to start doing the job.
No.
And-
Get,
No, no.
you get a price, we need a price. But listen, if it needs to be done, it needs to be done.
It
It don't
does.
matter what it costs.
It does.
So we're gonna dance around, so what happens if it's too much, what are you gonna say? Oh, we're not gonna do it, we're
No,
gonna
we
leave it,
have to
we gotta
tackle
do it. So let's do it. We just gotta do what we gotta
Who's
do.
second on that?
So are you saying then we're going to, how are you going to say which one needs to be moved, which one needs to be shot? Because
Well, there it is, right there. If they're too high or too low or rotten, they gotta be replaced. That's the district manager's call.
so you're saying that you're gonna shoot the whole, so you're gonna shoot the whole grade from the road all the way to the canal?
Well, the whole idea is, we're supposed to be doing swells. As you're doing swells, you're gonna, whatever it is, it is. What's in the way has gotta be done.
No, I don't disagree, but so what I'm saying is, if you're gonna do something like that, are you gonna shoot the grade to get the grade right all the way?
Yes, that's the whole idea. Start at one end, go to the other. But we were also talking about replacing ones that are damaged. It's two things here. While you're doing swells, you have that issue, and you have to address it, because what's the point of doing swells if you're gonna leave the culverts to the ground, and culverts that are bad?
Please,
So-
want to say something?
Okay, hold on. So what, either way, we gotta have a way to do it.
We have to do it.
So either one of those situations, we need to see what it's gonna cost to replace it, and you'll have to assess it if it's all been up.
So let me ask you this question, because what happens with the ones that are there, the ones that are installed, Mr. Bennett, the ones that are installed, and they passed inspection, but now, for some reason, it's not where it needs to be as
Well,
far as.
We gotta eat, if we inspected it and said it was good, we gotta eat that.
Yep.
Ain't gonna be in order, I'm gonna go
Just
to
gonna
somebody
say
and
that,
tell them, now you gotta pay the price. I won't, no,
I agree.
that's our baby.
Yep, we were the one that said,
Yeah, that's our baby.
You took it right out, yep.
But we have to fix it, okay?
Oh, yep, we have to
But
bring
the
it up.
biggest thing, what got this started, y'all, and we can do this all night, but what got this started was fixing culverts that were messed up. And then we went to the swells.
But it
They
goes
both,
together.
Is that responsibility?
so let's go ahead and table it. Let's work on a plan, how we're gonna attack this, and then we'll revisit it next month.
Yep.
We should.
All right, Chris?
No, I was gonna bring the same thing like what, Mr. Mata was saying, because Central County has been through 7 different managers, we had different engineers, so everybody had different elevations for everything. And it's the same thing like he's saying, if you go down a road and you're repairing, or you're gonna do the whole swell, and if Central County passed it, then
We're
Central County.
liable. You
Right.
can't look somebody in the face and say, you gotta eat it after we told you could do it.
But where's the record for all that?
Well, there should be records. If I have my culvert record, and it should be here, hopefully they're not lost. I know there's a lot of things that have disappeared over the past few years. That post office, agreement, we have some minutes that we found, but the actual agreement's nowhere to be found.
Well, basically on each road, if you have a new cover, it's supposed to be on the elevation where it's supposed to be. Every other cover is 20 feet, so it's out of code. So it doesn't matter if it's on elevation or not,
Not out of code.
you're still gonna have to take it out.
Put something together, what the cost is of replacing them, and let's look at it.
Also with that, Mr. Bennett, so we can have the great information, we'd like to have like to have a plan on how this can get done and what time frame we're talking about. A 2-year plan, a 5-year plan.
I'm gonna get on, I believe that, we should make a motion to move forward. We have to do
Well, we've agreed. We agreed we're gonna move forward. The motion, and I agree, I was ready to push. You know, sometimes I just wanna get it done. However, let him get us what it costs, what it's gonna cost to do it to the penny. And let's look at it. And then we say, okay, it's $3,000, okay. It's gonna cost so much a year per house, everyone you have to replace, and then we'll get it.
I'm good with the initiative, and this initiative has been since inception till now, and going, right? So it has to start somewhere, but this initiative is a long process.
Oh, of course it is.
Right? And we have, which I'm fine with, but also, once we set the elevations and it starts running, silt is gonna get in the swell, so we have to not just start this program, we have to maintain this program.
Yes, yes.
I just wanna make sure we're all.
No, yes.
We just can't do it and then it's finished and we leave.
But we have to do it first.
The first thing we have to do is,
I just want all the information exactly what we're gonna do.
So I thought the original point was going to fix swales and roads. When you do that, you have to replace the culverts. Now you're talking about replacing culverts, but how about if you pay to replace a culvert and then a year later you're doing that stretch of the road, you have to rip it out again?
no, that's what we just said. If you're permitted to put that culvert in and it's done, and we find it's wrong, then we gotta dig it up, put it back right, and life goes on.
So are you gonna replace culverts as part of road repair and swale, regrading program?
John, what are 3 things that you say all the time? What is Central County in charge?
Yeah, no, this is I'm just trying to understand what.
And the biggest problem that we have had in the history of Montour is what? Flooding, water. And the biggest thing that we've been working on is where is that water having to go? Water doesn't go up, it goes down. We have to control where that water is going, where that water is flowing. If I have one half of the road, which Miguel has this problem, his whole yard gets flooded. What's that reason? Because his culvert's blocked up. And if that water goes through his culvert, let's say he fixes his culvert and it goes down. If his neighbor's is not fixed, now we're stopping it there. So to address the issue, we have to start from where the water is, let's say the reservoir, now the canals, then the swells, then the culvert. So when we do get hit like how we did in 2017, we're not gonna have complaints or call back, hey, we're flooding. We're gonna have, oh, there's no water in my yard.
Let me say something real quick. I get what you said. We started with one thing and we've evolved. We've went from one thing to 3 other things.
Yeah, but that's how you're supposed to do.
But hold it.
That's why I was asking what was the question for that.
We started with culverts, y'all, and let's move on. We'll be here all night. We started with culverts, replacing culverts that were damaged. Okay? If we replace them, if we damage them, someone can prove that we did, we pay for it. If not, then we're gonna do what we said. The swell project was another one that we talked about a long time ago, and you're gonna have to make adjustments. Hopefully, as you go through there, everything's good, you just move it. And when the time comes, if those are damaged and we didn't damage them, then we agree, the landowner's got to pay for it. You, me, we're all landowners, so it's just the way it goes.
Well, the one that we damaged by accident with the mower or whatever, we replace them right away.
All right, so we're good. Get us a price together, and we'll go from there. Right now, basically, you're talking about the Miguel's place, right? The water won't move because of his culvert. If the culvert's damaged, we didn't damage it, then he's gonna have to pay to get it done.
But do keep this in mind. That is not the only culvert here in South.
Oh, listen, $15 million given to us right now is not gonna solve all the issues of Ventura. This place has been neglected for many years. I mean, it's never had the funding it needed, and things just got touched up and patched up, and we've moved on.
But
If we wouldn't have this influx of people here, we wouldn't be having this conversation, but we do. And now it's telling the tale. But again, we can't do it all at one time. We can't do it a little bit at a time with some things. We're trying to get help. Remember the project we're working on to get help to do this. So, we just can't. We don't have it.
So let me ask one thing so we can move on, because like I said, we don't want to keep going. So like for instance, in Mr. Reyes' situation, that sedimentation that's going in his drainage, is that from Central County, or is it something that the landowner is causing to happen?
Well, excuse me, in my opinion, the landowner is filling it, so, you know, it's coming from on this road. Happened over many, many years,
Right.
and now, no road is responsible, no things.
So if I was a landowner in that situation, I would say, as he just stated clearly, we're in charge of three things: roads, swale maintenance, and recreation. And now you're saying to the owner, we're going to take it out and we're going to charge you when it's our responsibility to maintain it because,
But it's damaged, remember, the culvert's damaged, and we didn't damage it.
no, it's not.
It's not damaged?
You're not understanding that.
I understand it very clearly, it's got junk in it, but if it's damaged, and it's holding all that sand up, and not letting it go all the way through, it's not our responsibility either.
Take it, why don't you take
Well,
pictures of
I-
it and send it to everybody. When he say it's damaged, like one side of it's damaged, like if you hit it over,
Right.
like a lady, it'll chew it up.
Right.
But damage, what you're talking about is collapse. It's not a collapse.
Yeah, if it's collapsed.
I got pictures.
It's not a collapse.
I got
Both
pictures.
ends of it.
All right, so again, he's gonna, let him give us a cost on doing this before we continue, and then when we have the cost, then we'll iron this out and get it done.
I agree.
Okay, so, go ahead, you
That
done?
is my report.
Thank you. Manager's report, you weren't here when we called you.
All right, so,
No
we're
money.
spending a lot of money on roads. We bounce from time to time depending on which one is the emergency, but we mainly on both Cypress, and we're trying to finish both Cypress all the way to 833. Right now we're on Kennel. We did repairs on perimeter from one side to the other one. That doesn't mean we did the entire road, because we need $1 million, but we did a lot of, repairs on the potholes and stuff. We are cleaning canals, we are on canal number 3. We are cleaning also swells on both Cypress, and we're going again all the way, and then we'll just keep going all the way down. We are still mowing. We sold 32 permits, and we did 28 inspections on this month. The potholes, we're still doing potholes with the coal patch. Trash is picking up a little bit. We're spending, it slowed down for a moment there, and now it's picking up a little bit. I'm talking about both trash, like sofas and.
Yeah. We've been up and down that road 100 times over the years. It gets worse, it gets better, we do something, it gets better, it gets worse.
I got something on that. I'll let you finish your report.
The small pole is being fixed, the electrical panel on the pavilions has been changed. It was kinda insecure for the kids, so we changed the whole panel. So we can put a lock on it. We're gonna have the Christmas lunch, next week on Wednesday, so if you guys wanna go, you're more than welcome. Thank you everybody for the Thanksgiving celebration, whoever went to the lunch. I know a lot of you guys work.
Somebody told me that.
I invited you myself.
Yeah, I do.
And that's about it. So a lot of other little things that I just, it's a lot.
Okay, you were gonna comment on something he said?
Yes, I got with Iglesias about Waste Connections because I told John to reach out, as well as Becky, to see what we can do legally about our contract. The person of interest who is over our district is Iglesias, and Iglesias said that he wanted to review the contract. Well, that's a waiting game, so I did my own looking into it. I got with Waste Connections, our corporate office in Texas, and I voiced the opinion with all of the videos and evidence I had, and I told them, it came to this point where we reached out to the district office, we reached out to the overall office of Southwest Florida, and we're getting the same answers, same results, you know. And today, I seen a video of them just plowing right over someone's trash can. You know, enough is enough. And like I told them, I said, if we need to take some legal action against our contract with the county, the Board of Commissioners, and, you know, move forward with canceling that contract, we will. And the county has agreed to that as well, that they are looking for other contractors.
That's what I heard.
Because they're getting the same complaint throughout the whole county. So when I voiced that to Waste Connections was very upset to hear that. They're gonna see what they can do from their corporate office to address that issue, because they're losing a lot of money if that contract is canceled out. I told them a couple years ago, if they have it in the file, they said they're gonna email it to me regarding payment that Central County residents did for trash cans. One of the reps that I spoke to at the corporate office did say that on their file that they do have some kind of regulation that they're going to get from the overall South Florida district office stating a payment for trash cans, because if that is the case, then the trash cans should have been provided to us by, I think, 2019. We all should have had trash cans by then, because they do it in segments. But nobody here in Montour has that. As well as moving on into the degree where we go from every individual rear disposal to where they come with the machine to just grab it and go. You know, we haven't even moved from that even to joining and getting recycling. You know, there's a lot of stuff that our district neighboring Lee County has, and they provide with their services, which is waste management, I think. So we're going to be looking into that degree, me and a couple other people, to see about if they can bump up what they do in their agreement on their contract. If not, we're going to move into another degree, because it is ridiculous.
Okay. All right, so,
I want to say something real quick. I forgot to mention that. I want to say thank you. So you guys know, Commissioner, what the copy machine, what's his name?
Iglesias.
Mr. Turner.
No, Mr. Turner donated a copy machine, a huge copy machine for the clubhouse.
good.
And Hill Foundation donated 250 live Christmas tree.
Who did?
Hill Foundation.
Oh, you give out.
I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, they're good about
I want to ask you a question. The clubhouse was open today?
Yes, sir.
This was open, so the electricity panels and all that, they were fixed?
Yeah. Yeah, we were able to fix it today in the morning.
That's good.
All right, let's move on to the treasurer's report.
Hold on, let me ask you something. So have we filled that position at the clubhouse?
Not yet.
How long has that been open?
Not sure, but it's been open for quite a while now, maybe 5 months, 6 months.
Have we received applicants for that position?
We have sometimes, but they didn't,
What do you think the reason is that we don't fill that position is? Is it our salary, or what's going on, why are we having such a hard time to do that position?
well, I believe the first reason is because people is basically getting an employment money. Second, some of the applicants, when we let them know that we do background check and drug test, they just say, well, don't worry about it, for whatever reason. And maybe the money is one of them, but that one I don't know, because they never really asked. We have a few exceptions, but they never told me.
I can tell you something, there's a lot of big corporations that pay a lot more money, I'm not saying their names, than this place that are having a fit getting help. It's not about the money, it's people don't wanna work. Everybody's getting free money sent home, and they're laying up enjoying it.
But I think we have a lot of retired people in our community as well, so can we get creative and maybe bring in 2 or 3 seasoned, experienced people to fill this position, maybe 10 hours here, 20 hours there, 30 hours there, to boost up our team there at the clubhouse, because it's 2 people working Port Starbucks. That's 7 days a week. Sooner or later, somebody's gonna miss. So if they do miss it, I'm pretty sure somebody from this office, from this side, has to go fill in. I'm assuming.
Well, they don't work 7 days a week. They work 4 days a week.
So that clubhouse is only open 4 days a week?
7 days a week.
That's what I'm saying. So
but they don't work 7 days a week.
I understand, but that's a 7-day.
Yeah, we have 2 days a week, but we only have one employee
It's a good
there.
idea, though. Start asking for people that are part-time people retired and just divide it up.
One thing I want to mention, Mr. Mayor.
We have people that approach the office and, to be honest with you, none of the, retired people, none of them speak English. So,
That's the point that I want to do. Second plan, right, I'm bring over here, that I know that ASB,
Hey man, you know.
and they communicate in English. They don't speak perfect English. They communicate. One of them is Lady Wilson. She works at the Safe Life in town. And she, I've seen her communicating in English. I believe she,
I spoke to her, and that's not what she told me. Neither her husband.
I mean, her, I've seen her communicating in English with people there in Safe Lives. And one thing I want to mention, her husband, he knows about everything about maintenance. I believe we have Mimi there, and she's the one that we are in the clubhouse.
Yeah, they only work together 1 day of the week.
Oh, we have Jesse speaks English also. So if we have another person there, who don't speak that much English, that person will be assisting the clubhouse employees in all the details that they have to do. You know,
Right. The problem is not during the week. The problem is when the people go and visit the clubhouse looking for a lot of information where there's only one employee at the clubhouse.
yeah, but we have Jesse and we have Rosa. I mean,
One-
Jesse and Amelia.
One employee at the clubhouse on the weekend.
That's why we need to know.
But right now,
No.
we have one employee during the holiday, so as we speak, we have one employee. So my thing is,
No. As we speak, we got 2 employees.
listen, so when I went to the clubhouse the other day, there was one employee,
Right.
right? So my thing is, one employee has to maintain that whole facility, ground, the whole 9 yards. So if a community member or visitor comes in, that person that's doing maintenance or has to stop what he's doing, what she's doing, that's where they come and assist. So I'm saying it's going to be challenging for one person. So for instance, if the pool's open, unless the lifeguards are doing it, they have to maintain the pool as well. So it's going to be a little challenging when you only have, as we have right now, 2 employees.
Right.
And they're working toward the start. They're not working together for 7 days. They probably overlap 1 day together.
Just on Thursday, yeah.
So I'm saying, so the other 6 days, they're working by themselves.
That's why I'm saying, even if the person speaks a little bit of English, to
Just see what you can do, just see what you can do.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different stuff we can do. The only problem with the retired person is that if you get a part-time, let's say you get a part-time, is that part-time going to do the weekends?
Or
Or,
something that you figure out.
At least these people that don't retire.
Guys, listen.
I
Hold on, let's let him figure it out. Get some part-time help and work it out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Work it out, and if you tell them they gotta work, they don't have to work the weekend, just shuffle around.
For you.
Because not, we can do this forever, Chris.
okay, so you guys need to go to approve 2 or 3 part-times in the clubhouse. Because the
You got
clubhouse
one full-time, and you,
I make a
It's
motion.
on the board right now.
yeah.
I make a motion to hire part-time.
We need a motion, we already got approved for.
We have a position open.
Yeah, so we're gonna divide it into 3 ways.
We have a position open.
Chris, go ahead.
Have y'all looked into the workforce? To the workforce to see if somebody could come in and then, they work and then they end up working out, then you can hire them? Try doing that?
Probably look into that for sure.
If we used to do that here for a little while, that's how we gained some of the employees.
we tried one time, but
Nobody.
they never.
But you know what, give them a call every now and then just to say you did it, because you never know when somebody's gonna show up. Good one.
The other question was, Emilio, was, what's the gentleman's name that did the repair for us? Mr. Johnson. Flags team, did he finish all the electrical stuff with that clubhouse? Is that closed out? Is that project completely closed out?
Yes.
Okay. So can we, Ben, I don't know if you recall, I believe we gave approval, I'm not sure if you found it out, I believe we gave approval to block off that one side.
Okay, so when you guys were talking about that, there was, the pool was going on, and that room was going on. So, at the end of the day, that was done on the land meeting, on 2019. So, at the end of the day, what you guys approve is to hold on the AC area and do the electrical work and repair the pool because it was $50,000. That was the actual vote. So if you guys can bring it up again, if you guys want to closer to the AC or whatever, we just redo the whole.
So, but we have, so we have secured that electrical component is closed down.
The electrical work is finished. I haven't met with my engineer to go there yet, but they did say it is finished.
Okay.
And then my last question is, for complaints, the complaints that we get from the community, if we can start getting a copy of the complaints and then what type of resolution that we got with the landowner or for whatever reason, so we can see that ongoing list, see where we're at. Sometimes we get calls or something, a lot of us.
I can always send you the list. Basically, the only complaint we have is the road. We have the lead, we have a lead going on, we're scratching everything we're doing.
If you can send it out.
We can always.
I don't know about the rest of it, if you can send it out to me once a month so I can see where we're at. I got a call on December 5th, which is now December 15th. Are we working on it? It's in progress. I'd like to see that so we can have something to give back to our
When we were having the big problem with the calls, when people said they were calling, and we didn't have no documentation or data, I remember I brought it up to Becky's attention that we need a data form of every person that calls in about their road. So when we do have our monthly meetings and you request it, we can, and they do, they keep a, because there has been times I went in there and I'm sure.
Excel.
Yeah, the
It says
spreadsheet.
this date, yeah, it says this date, this time, this person, this address, yeah.
So if we could get, at least myself, so we'd be informed and say, hey, by the way, I'm looking at the notes, they did or know that. Got it. Other than that,
I would like to make a motion, do a salary increase on the employees, the county employees. I make a motion to do $14 starting an hour at the clubhouse. Okay, and 90 days after, $15 an hour. And for the heavy equipment operators, they start with $18 an hour, and 90 days after, $19 an hour. So in that way, we can hire and retain good employees here at the county.
How much do we pay now?
11 to start.
We start 12 at the clubhouse and 15.
Mr. Emilio, 11 to start, and 90 days after 12.
Yes.
Yes. So if we go
that's at the clubhouse.
$14 an hour to start and $15 in 90 days after, that's a motivation for a lot of people here in Montoya, instead of going to town, to work with us and stay with us. If we start the heavy equipment operators, $18 an hour, and after 90 days, we give them $19 an hour. That's a great motivation to hire good people. We have good people now, to retain the good people that we have right now.
I'm sorry, let you finish.
So I'll make a motion.
What's their regular working hours, how many hours they work a week?
8. That's a regular work, we do overtime, like, with the canals right now, roads.
When we do evaluations, do we evaluate them and then they compensate them on evaluation as well as cost of living, or is it just one complete?
No, sir.
How do we do that here?
We do evaluations on a yearly base, and if they really are, keep up and working hard, I do compensate.
And that compensation is for cost of living or for the evaluation, or it's all?
For the evaluation of the year, which is not always.
Understood.
John Boy, is that feasible what, board member St. Carlos said, regarding increasing? Feasible, do we have it in our finances?
Well, I mean, it's talking about a 20 or 25% increase in the salary expense. I'm not sure.
I believe honestly, they deserve, I've been seeing them working, lately they work on the plan, they work with them. You know, whether they do, they work in the canal, they work in the roads, and I believe they are underpaid right now. That's why I'm bringing up these,
I agree with you, but we need to make sure that we are capable of executing that before we make that decision. 100%, you know, I agree with you, you know, the only way to get good workers is, you know, you have to scout for them, but as well as obtaining their, you know, day of living. We don't live 5 minutes from, you know, the closest Walmart, you know, it is a drive for people. You know, so with that being said, you know, gas and all that other stuff does come into play, but we have to make sure that we have it in our finances moving forward, because that is a big increase that we'll be taking on.
All right, so you wanna table it and let him look at it and get back with us next month and see what we can do?
Yeah.
All right.
Can I say something?
Yes, sir.
His numbers are not too far away. A lot of my guys are close to,
Okay. Well, you put yours together, let him look at where that would put us, and then we'll look at it at the next meeting and we'll vote on it.
Also, what you can do is.
Put it on the agenda.
Yeah, put it on the agenda.
Please. We're not even on the agenda.
Yeah,
and we're-
yeah, we've been off. Listen, that's how we roll, okay, anyway. All right. All right, we're done with that, the treasurer's report. Yeah, we can get off that thing quick one.
All right, so in November, we spent $187,000. We started getting our tax collections. So we set the $1,991,000. November, we got $306,840. Turn to the next page. Shows the current year and prior year collections there, $306,700. We collected more, you know, this time than last year, so we're off to a good start here. 306,000 compared to 150. The delinquent tax collections are about 8,000, pretty close to the same as the year before. As far as the budget goes, of course, we're only 2 months into the budget, but if you take the last year's budget, you know, for 2 months, it'd be about $381,000. We've only spent 302 so far, so we're actually about close to $80,000 under the budget. But that's, you know, it's just 2 months, that may mean we just haven't done something yet, but still.
We'll get it later.
Yeah.
We'll get it later, I guarantee you that. Don't ask for nothing, you're done.
So that's the normal things to cover. Questions?
Okay.
yes, I have a question. Yes.
You gotta say it right away, because if you pause.
I need a box.
Okay.
I said it right away. Come on.
Come on, man.
What about the tax money that we asked the county and every meeting we say, no, we're working on it?
It's on the
We're
agenda,
not
right?
talking, we're
It's on
talking.
the agenda.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna get to that, right? It's on the agenda. It says Supervisor Alvarez, Underwood Management Service Group.
Oh, that's you.
I thought it was, but you know.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the tax money that,
Right,
Rankin County
that's
is
this.
taking from us and,
Oh, okay.
It's on the agenda.
It's on the agenda. We're going there shortly.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. You were saying,
That's
you
it.
done?
Yeah.
That's you, John. I think, did you do
Okay,
yours?
three quick things, so, I know some of you, Juan, I drafted a drainage and maintenance agreement for, the adjacent landowner. So, before you walk, this is the guy who was discharging onto
Oh, yes, yes,
the
yes,
property.
yes,
You
yes,
guys
yes.
asked me last month. to
Correct,
draft
correct.
an agreement. So here's the agreement. I'm gonna change so the way it's written now, on February 1st of every year, he pays $3,500, and I'm gonna change that to $2,500. So on February 1st of every year, if he signs it, he pays $2,500, and then every 3 years, that number can be re-examined. So we're gonna move forward with that. I'm gonna send it to Benny. Benny's gonna talk to the gentleman.
As soon as I get it in my hand, I'll call him and meet with him.
And Benny, you're going to, the guy upstream from him?
Do
You're gonna check that one as well, the gentleman upstream from him?
The only problem we got from him is, and he knows it, is the across the
Right.
road, which we need, that plate sits back this far.
Okay.
We need, there needs to be some rubber in there, and if it's gotta be drilled and screwed in there where it's tight, so the water don't come across, and that, it'll never leak, but it leaks like a sieve, I guarantee you.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and then also last month I sent you all, you asked me to draft a memo on incorporation. So I sent that to you. You know, I did do a little research and I spoke to somebody in I guess it would be St. Lucie County who's had some experience. It typically is a 2 to 3 year process. There is a committee that's formed of landowners, you know, that kind of take the lead. We can support them, help them, give them information. You know, there's, in the memo, there's the criteria, all of which we meet, be incorporated. Like, for example, if we're, we have to have a certain distance from another municipality, which we meet. There's on the Census Bureau, do you know what the population of Henry County is?
42,000.
Good. That's right, 39,000.
Like, how we show, how we show,
2020 census. Yeah.
how we show is 42,000?
And then the population of Montreux.
5,000. 5,000.
38. Anybody else?
6,000.
This is only
What do we get if we get a grant?
2020 census. Get a
$4
cookie.
grand?
Yeah, a cookie.
6,000.
Yeah, about, well, it's 3,400.
Yeah, I said 38. so-
And again, this is census.
Yeah,
How
yeah,
accurate
yeah.
it is.
I didn't say that.
How many legal?
Right now, I wouldn't have money, man.
So, you know, it does require doing a feasibility study. Getting the financing.
You're talking about we incorporate.
To incorporate. Yeah. So, and then there's a law that lays all this out. It's in the statute. It's section 165.0614 of the statute. And then it even says the study, you have to do a feasibility study, and it has a list of information that needs to be in the feasibility study. And then there's what they call a non-binding referendum. So you put it up to a popular vote, whether the residents want to do it. They call it non-binding, sure, because even if the majority does, ultimately it's up to the legislature. A bill is filed with the legislature, so we have to have a House sponsor and a Senate sponsor. Ideally, our representative from Henry County and the senator, which probably represents a couple of counties in the secretary. They would file a bill, make its way to the legislature. It has to go through 4 committees, which is a lot. There's a lot of stumbling blocks. But that's the process. It's very clearly laid out in the statute. So I just want to make sure you all checked your emails and had a copy of that. The last thing is golf carts. So it was very interesting. So I had a very long conversation with Teresa Giuseppe, who's the Assistant Attorney General who's working on our opinion. And I talked to her at length. She asked for a lot of additional information. And I've kind of learned some stuff about roads too that's very interesting. So even though the roads are owned in fee by Central County, you know, they're still considered public roads. So we can give them one. Well, it's the lady from the post office. She's there, okay. So this ties into the post office issue. So I'm talking to an assistant attorney general who spent many hours looking at the legislation that created Central County. So that was a state law, chapter 298. And anybody can go home tonight and Google chapter 298. and it says, here's the authority of the water control district. It's a half of a page. Read it. It's very narrow. In fact, the Assistant Attorney General said, you don't have the authority to maintain roads.
Beautiful.
So you go to chapter 298, and sure enough, what it says is, you can maintain roads for agricultural purposes. So there's something wrong there, so I did a little more research. And there, and some of the old timers will remember, apparently there have been a series of special laws. So you know what the difference between a law and a special law? Most laws, they're passed by the legislature and they apply to everybody.
Sure.
A special law is called Laws of Florida. It only applies to a particular subject or a particular area. So we have had, over the last 40 years, a series of special laws. So for example, some of you may remember that when there was a big dispute on the board about landowner versus popular election.
I remember that one.
Okay, well, a special law was passed that divided up the board.
Yes.
Seats between. So, in that special law, the last one was in 2014. And in that special law, it gives us clear authority to operate and maintain roads. No, wait. Then I tell the Attorney General, I said, I found it. It's right here. He said, no. You can't expand the authority you have that's in the general law to a special law. And I don't want to get in the weeds, but
I like the
the
weeds.
whole post office issue, I'm dealing with the Attorney General. All this person does is write legal opinions every day. And they're telling us, they're looking at our authority very, very narrowly. Because I know there's hundreds of water control districts that maintain roads.
So what's the name of this lady?
Teresa Museto. She's actually
That's the one, that's the one,
in Miami.
that's the one that you like.
No, that's not true. She's been very nice.
Very nice lady, very nice lady.
It's more about the earth, but
Yeah. I don't know where, I don't know if you could hear that.
Very nice lady. That's
I don't know who would be dealing. If anybody called her, she would have called me, so I don't know. But let me just say,
You're killing.
well, the bottom line is, her opinion is gonna say you cannot authorize golf courses, because I don't see golf carts
that's what
anywhere
they told me.
in the statute.
So is their opinion also gonna say that we don't need to be maintaining these roads? That's where I'm going.
So that's why there's a bit of a delay, because I think that would be problematic. So I spoke today to Mark Lapp, the county attorney. And so, again, I'm going to get lost in the weeds here, but yeah, one more argument we can make to her to see if it sticks. But, the point is we have somebody in Tallahassee that says, hey, you were created by a statute and you can only do what that statute gives you power to do. Not golf carts, not post offices. It's very narrow, and that's the way they interpret it. I mean, you can today authorize a menial to, build the bounce house if you want, but if we ever got audited, that would be a problem. Just understand that our expenditures by law have to be based on what we're authorized to do. For better or worse, they interpret it narrowly. Remember, a city or a county is the opposite. They have what's called home rule authority, which means they can do anything they want unless there's a federal or state law that prohibits it. We're the opposite. We can only do what we're allowed to do under the statute.
So is that why in Houston, they're allowed to drive cars on their roads because it's the city?
Right. And, no, it's even better than that. There's a statute, section 316, that specifically says, if you're a county, here's what you have to do to authorize this on your roads. If you're a city, this is what you have to do. But there's nothing about if you're a special district. So that's why I went to the Attorney General, because there was no guidance out there.
Everything we do has to go through the Senate up
Yeah,
there.
and that's why I called the county attorney, because he had some experience.
So the Senate and the representative of the state, all involved in this lady. They are involved in this lady.
If they want to pass a law.
Let's go to that. Let's go to that. Let's go to that.
That's what we talked about.
We go do it.
We were
This lady, we gonna know what else to do.
but we talked about going through the process that we're going, and then after that, we'll do what we had to do after
This
that.
lady,
So
she
we're not
thinks
done with
we
this
have
yet.
no rights.
So, you could take that, you could take that opinion, we'll get one. You can take that opinion and you can go to the county commission, you can go to the legislature and say, we want to be able to do this. You can do that if you want.
How about if we don't want to be able to do something anymore?
Well, I mean, you know, you can't just like knock on somebody's door. You're
I'm
gonna
beating that
have
man.
a lobbyist, somebody's got to fly to Tallahassee and lobby their state.
Oh, you go, you.
I'm in.
If you want me to do that, I'm
Yeah.
happy to do it.
Yes.
I've done it
We've done,
before, but-
listen, we did it before, that boat change,
Yeah.
that was a big
So
deal.
when you did that before,
We
you
did it.
hired.
We hired a lobby firm with that license.
So we haven't, she hasn't really responded, just.
Yeah.
No, it's because she's trying to be nice. She's like, hey, I just
Yeah,
want to
I
let
did,
you
yeah.
know, this is where I'm at. I've done my research. She's actually trying to be nice about it. This is where I'm at. Convince me
Well,
otherwise.
she's not.
So, so
I
I,
express myself, sir.
so I wrote an email to
See,
her.
that's what I'm saying.
And when you get
I
home
mean,
tonight,
she don't give us no rights.
you'll see my email. I sent it to you, so you can see what I told
They're
her.
citizens, so. you
Try to
have
push
take
back.
authority.
I get it.
I mean, Dan, can we hear?
That's the latest and greatest.
So back to where I was. We do not have the authority to do anything, or we do have authority to make people.
Her position is,
We do.
it's not there.
I like her, I do something about her I like. So with that being
Let's go
said,
to the legislation.
hold it. So with that being said, where do we go from here with that?
So she hasn't written anything, and that's
Okay,
why
wait.
she called, that's why we
Okay.
talked, she goes, I don't wanna mess you up, so I'm just letting you know where I'm at. Please convince me otherwise, that's why I called the county attorney, and I said, "Okay, heads up, this is gonna be a problem, because
I spoke to a few people up there as well, and they said over the years of how Central County been ran, the 298 doesn't even open, the four walls that 298 falls under, this 298 is very different. And there's a lot of gray area in our 298 because of how this 298 was established. And from what this individual told me was, we have to find with our constituents another turning, because this 298 does not work. And it is showing now that we have a board that's moving in that degree, we're finding all of these problems about this 298. So there's a lot of stuff that we're gonna have to move into another, like Lehigh Acres or other.
So we wait for her opinion.
Let's go to the
Make sure
legislation.
you, steer her in the direction that we agree we don't have no right to be messing with roads. And we wait for her opinion, then I guess that'll have some kind of cool. We've done the legislative thing, I mean, we did it, we hired a law enforcement, in Tallahassee, and we charged.
It's just not working. It's just
No,
not working.
we
That's
did.
why I believe, as a board, we start informing the community. The more we stay the way we are, we're not.
You can't.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but I'm saying, you still gotta let the people know here, this is what's going on, this is what, this is what we're proposing. Or not we as a community, we have to have buy-in, but, right now, this water control 298, we're shocked, especially with, I guess, the information that you're gonna bring up as well, because, we're getting further and further behind the 8 ball, and we have more constraints now than ever before.
Yeah, and another reason I called the county attorney is I think that the county commission, this should make them nervous.
Yeah.
If somebody's gotta be responsible, and the only other entity,
If they get nervous, let them get nervous. We go where we have to.
Well, that's why in these discussions that we've been having, let's work together. Let's work together. I mean, all we need is some help with roads
Well, just
and make some
like
modifications.
Port LaBelle, 298, all their roads are paved.
Yeah, but
And I looked into that, and you know who paid for
they
that?
didn't pay them.
They didn't pay for
Of
it.
course they didn't. This 298
The
was,
state paid for
this
that.
298 was built differently than everybody else. And that's why I'm saying, it was all great when there was 2,500 people, maybe even 3,000 people. At the rate we're going now, we've been screaming and said, we got here, we cannot continue. So that's why we're working with We have the Underwood report, and we've been in talks with the county to try to come up with a solution. And then believe me, there's been some solution. There's been talk about gas tax and all other ways to fund some of this stuff, so we're still
No,
doing
the
it.
solution is they can give us half of the money that they're taking away from
They're not
us,
gonna give you
from the
that.
taxes.
They're not gonna give you
They'll
that.
do a project.
Yeah, they're not, I'm telling you what, they're not gonna
They-
Okay, let's do a project, and they can fix, ducting, they can fix a perimeter, road, they can fix a canal. I mean, I don't want the money, let's
All right,
just
guys.
do the job, you know?
Okay, so let's move on. Where are we? That's it? So the report, so what, I don't have anything to say on the report. If someone thinks I have, all I have to report is what I said. There was discussion of, matter of fact, that the county people were looking into how they could legally, if they could legally give us money back from gas tax, which is, that could be a big deal.
When's the last time you met with her?
And matter of fact, I called Raymond today. I'm waiting for an answer
And
for,
yeah, and by the way, if they have a problem giving us the money, that's fine. They can come do the work.
well, that's what I said. You know, believe me, they get it, they get it. Here we are, because when this first started, they didn't get it, because they were, well, you're ad valorem, no, we're not there, we have never been there. They get it now, where we are, what we're spending, they've seen our budget, and what we have to do here, and it's a big job, so, hopefully this thing goes the way it should, and I've expressed to them very politely, not threatening anyone, that there's other avenues we can take. We came to the table, we wanna work it out with y'all. If we can't, then we have to do what we have to do from there on. So, I called him today and I'll call him tomorrow and see where we are on this.
So, Mr. Alvarez, let me ask you something.
Yes.
So, in your communication with the county, so are we clear to say that all the county commissioners know what's going on, or are you specifically working with one commissioner?
The county administrator and one commissioner. But the county administrator is, that's what she does. She's got a lot to say. They're gonna listen to what they have to say.
What I'm saying, does the commissioners?
We haven't gotten there yet. We're trying to get the groundwork so we know where we stand. We know, once we know, for example, she may say, after what they've been saying, they may say, you know what, we can give you gas tax money. Now, there's no sense in bringing everybody into this and putting them on the board and start discussing it and go nowhere. So we're looking at the options. When we get them, then we'll say, here's what we got, let's do it.
So let me ask you this, since we only meet once a month and they meet twice a month, is there any way that the process can be sped up and information be processed, and they give us timelines, hey, I should have you something in 2 or 3 weeks?
That's the call I made today, and I honestly, I haven't been pushing it very hard for the simple reason that just kind of.
They can get that information.
But, so, I called him today and I'll call him tomorrow, and the question was, where are we and where are we going from here? Let's go.
Gotcha.
And,
So you'll bring that in?
hopefully I have something good to tell you. But he just made my day with what he said. So it gives us a little bit more bargaining power, I think. I will tell you this, I went into this process when I was here the last time before I was gone. And nobody wanted to talk about it, they laughed at you. Now, you've lost your mind. Now they're listening very closely, so I see we're 100 miles closer than we were before. So that's all I can tell you. This could go bad in a week, it could go better, so hopefully, and I'll email everybody as soon as I have an answer. Okay? So that's that. Done? Yes, sir.
It should have been on here, my report.
Somehow you got left out, I'm real sorry.
What about money?
You done made your report. You're not allowed to say another word till we turn these ladies mad at you.
Oh, I just.
All right, go ahead. Yeah. No, go ahead, guys. Let's get this done.
Okay, I spoke with, Ismail, the one that was removed from here for the outburst. He did have a legitimate concern as a community member. He wants to know, who does he get with? Because on his behalf, I spoke with a few other people, and they told me that it's left up to the board's decision regarding if he can get his mail, go to community events like basketball tournaments, and stuff like that. So I just want to know, where are we with that, so I can give him an answer.
I think Officer Dominguez.
1 year.
1 year. Okay.
What's the scope? He can't go to a community event?
He's trespassing all of Central County.
Yeah, from all of Central County property. And yeah, so it was a thing for him for the basketball tournament because of the family ties. He didn't want to miss it, but he did. So he reached out about that. And I told him I'll ask. You know, I asked a few people and they told me he has to go ask. So I said I'll bring it up with the board to see what direction we can go from there.
May I ask Officer Dominguez a question? But the Central County, we didn't put, how did that, I don't know the specifics of how the restraining order.
There's no restraining order, it's a trespassing. It was put by the board the day of the arrest.
I got you.
Yeah.
12 months, then he's gotta come back and ask the board to reinstate him or not. The case still open.
The next thing is, we do have, I made an event calendar. It's not here, it'll be presented next month for the beginning of the year, throughout that year. I brought it up last month regarding, you know, bringing the fair and all of that other stuff. With that, I did find out from a couple other people within our state, because we're at 298 and we do have recreational, there's a few things that we can apply for as in grants, but we'll have to go through the county for that. I was bringing it forward to see if you guys are open to that, you know.
I thought we agreed that with the fairs, we had one here.
No, but the grant.
Well, of course.
Because we do have, it has to go through the county, and
Right.
the county,
We agree, any free money we can get, we'll take. I don't think anybody has a problem with that, right?
okay.
So Jason, yeah.
And the other thing is presentation at the clubhouse. The manager deals with the day-to-day, but I think this objective needs to come from the board. We need to have some kind of noted system that shows our events, what we do, as well as presentation of us and management and either pamphlets, little booklets that will be put there. This is the governing board for this 298 district. These are our bounds, what we do. Because I have got a lot of people who are moving here to Montour, and when they go on our website was down. You know, so when they try to find information about Montour, there was literally nothing there, as well as no information of what our events are. You know, our basketball tournaments, soccer tournaments, all that stuff is nowhere on there.
Can Becky not take care of that? Write up something and
Our
post it?
tournaments are in the website.
What I'm saying is,
I mean, she can say something, post it there.
yes, what I'm saying is not something that is feasible for them to grab and go home, as in a pamphlet or a booklet.
Yeah, I'm sure she can do that, right? I mean, that's not something we need to vote on. I mean,
Like a monthly calendar.
yeah, monthly calendar, she can set it up and put it, you can set it there and let it take.
And something else that I seen was at other community centers of 298s and other board districts are headshot photos. I brought this up before and I'm bringing it up again. We have to have a presentation form for when we have other government officials and new people in the community of who is in charge of our governing board here within our district. It's presentation. You look at Hendry County, they're all presentation. You go to all other districts, it's presentation. If not, we're gonna be taken as a joke. That's the only reason why I'm saying it.
Listen, a lot of these officials don't even want to come out here. For some of the reasons
Well,
I'm talking about.
well,
It's not because there's no pictures hanging, it's because of all the, I'm sorry, assholes that we got in the community that don't know how to talk to people. I'm not gonna bite my tongue, I'm gonna say it like it is. And that's the problem we have here, no other. So if y'all wanna take a picture, hell, let's take a picture. I don't care. But I can tell you, that ain't gonna change
He
nothing.
can't wear a hat, right?
I mean, you know, you go anywhere else, to any other meeting, people come, they present themselves, they talk like human beings, they don't attack people, they don't interrogate people, they don't talk to other people. Only here that happens. And I said it tonight, we're done. It's not happening no more. There's no reason for it. It doesn't happen anywhere else in the world except here. And that's why no one wants to come here. You go ask the county commission about having a meeting out here, they'll tell you, hell no, they don't ask me. They used to have, they used to have meetings out here. They don't want to come here.
Helping hire me.
Yeah, that's right, well, there you go. I get it. You just linked it, you just put the chain together. There you go. Are you done there?
No.
Come on, man.
And another thing is I reached out to the governor's office and I got an answer on his, one of his reps or someone from his office spoke to me. I invited him out here to come see our 298 to see what we deal with, and is that time for me?
It don't work, I'm just messing with you, go ahead. It don't even work.
I invited him to see our 298 as well as, some of the problems that we're dealing with. His office can give us some insight of what direction they want to see us move into and what direction, of how we're going. With that being said, I reached out to many of our neighboring 298s to see what works, what doesn't work, what they seizable as options and what wasn't options for them that, the daily talk to see what we can adopt to our 298. And then the other thing that I did get back from the governor's office was it was regarding to our clubhouse and us moving in the degree of something from a 298 and what, from the evidence I gave them, what do they think we should go into? A lot of them suggested that we start having what's called community workshops or community informational gatherings where we lay out the 298 and we lay out their options of what direction we need to move to and we support their decision. We have like a little vote there, hey, everyone here voted, we move in this direction and we support them. Because like how the representative said was the only way to get us some of this help and assistance is with their support and also with us backing them because there's a lot of stuff that needs to change and it's not going to change unless the governing board assists as well as with their participation in their vote. And that's something I wanted to present to you, the board, with that is the 298 as we all four can see does not work. And the only way to change it is with their support and moving that forward. So I was going to present a meeting schedule next month, as well as with the event schedules of workshops. It's just here's our options and what do you guys want to see, just positive feedback. And then we vote on it and then we work together to object that objective. Because I think that's something we need to do as our governing board moving forward.
Okay.
And then the other thing too is, I didn't bring the proposal, he didn't email it to my Outlook, so I'm gonna tell him to email it to the other, to my Outlook email. It's a proposal to redo the main road in front of the clubhouse, what's that road again? Hacienda. The one from the store, from Mary. Yeah. To remove the disgusting trees that are there and to replace them with, an annual tree, like a royal palm that, self-cleans and stuff like that. Something, nice or not to even put anything there. There's two proposals. Also, it comes with removing the trees, as well as removing and replacing. I just wanted to get your guys' opinion on that, if, that's something you guys are willing to look into, or...
Who's paying for it?
We are. There are trees.
There are trees.
There are trees. No,
I
the
thought
other
the governor's office was coming with
No.
I thought, yeah, let them come.
The reason why I'm bringing it up is because I don't know if many of you went down there during nighttime and during daytime. They are ridiculously getting out of hand, and they are on our property, and we're liable for them. We get another storm and that tree lands on someone's house or rips out someone's fence or damages their coat, whatever it may be. We need to do something about addressing that. That is a liability issue, and it is getting out of hand. These trees are getting bigger and bigger every time I see. Even bringing them down to the ground where it's just a stalk, time being, until we can do something about, removing the whole tree. We need to do something ASAP with these trees. So that's something I just brought up to you guys to move forward with that degree.
4 years ago, a lot of you guys were not in the board. I wanted to get rid of all those trees and put palm trees on. And we have estimates on it. And I don't remember exactly what was the number, but, just so you know. And, but I do remember that the lowest number was 26,000 to remove and all that.
Yeah. Well, we need to do something because with a possible tropical storm coming and a tree falling onto someone's house, which they are really close to some of these homes, that's our tree. It's on our.
Hold it. Did you plant that tree?
I didn't plant
I
that
think
tree,
it'd grown wild, but anyway, we'll talk to the attorney about
but
that.
Central County planted those trees years ago when we took over this property, so.
Did we?
Well, the original owner, correct? The original owner?
I don't know.
Okay, well, the
Nobody
original.
knows.
Yeah, well,
There we
they're on
go.
our swells, so we.
Find out who put them there and make them take them off.
The original owners of.
Pan American Land Development Corporation is exactly who did it. They're also the ones that had the brochure that said that Ventura Ranch was on Lake Okeechobee, but we're 20 minutes away from there. And they're also the ones that put on those brochures that everybody had the right to use the reservoir to do whatever the hell they wanted to. There you go again.
I'm gonna throw one of your phrases at you. Where's the puck gonna stop?
No, I get it. So
it's our tree.
let's look into what we gotta do to clean it up. Okay, I'm with you. I had to do that. It was fun. All right, you're done, right?
I'm done.
All right, come on. You done? Go ahead. Now then.
Let me clock away from it.
They had to beat one time, ain't no good.
This is my supervisor report. I have mentioned this before in the meetings. I want to mention it again. I know the Henry County, they purchased about six new ambulances.
Oh, okay.
That's what I heard. We should have ambulance here, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, okay? We can have it here at the Montoya Ranch Fire Department. And if any of the residents, like it happened many times, have problems, they can go to the properties and be taken to Houston Hospital for whatever assistance they need, and that will be saving lives. We have a lot of elderly people here. Maybe they can have a heart attack, stroke, whatever. And the minutes that count in order for save their life. If we have an ambulance here, 7 days a week, 24 hours, it will be quick. When the ambulance have to come from town, over here is a 20-minute drive from there to here. They go to the properties, then about 20 minutes over there. That's 45 minutes to an hour. That counts. You save your life.
You have to direct that to where does that go? To the county, the ambulance? Yeah.
Oh, we should write a letter to them to whoever is responsible for that.
Because I was told by
Telling them to have an ambulance here.
I was told by a source, and I'm not going to name here today, it wasn't going to happen. It just wasn't in the budget. So I'm just saying, it's great. I get it, but it's not something
I
that
think you're using money that
we need to do.
you know?
Well, we need to do as citizens,
Something for us, you know?
as private citizens, we need to start going to the county meetings.
I see a new ambulance going on everywhere, and, you know, they got one stationer. They care about the residents. Okay, that's one issue. The other issue is, I have mentioned it before, the shelters for the school children, bus stops. We have shelters for the children in the bus stops, okay? If it rains, if it's cold, whatever. I don't think that costs so much money, okay? We can make it, I mean, the wood, plastic, whatever, for the children, they can have shelters and bus stops. Okay? So, that's all. Mr. Emilio, will I give the plaques now?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry?
That was the last thing we were gonna do. Hold on. Get done.
Oh, this is the other thing?
Hey, wait a minute. Take it easy. What am I here for? Relax. No, go ahead. I'm sorry. No, I'm just-
So, this is the time that I give the plaque
Oh,
away.
you're gonna give the flags? Okay. Oh, you done? Wait a minute. He's on, right? Hold it.
El señor aquí, él no conoce cómo es el proceso, es nuevo. A él se le olvidó llenar el papel. Y yo no me di cuenta hasta después.
Juan, señor?
Yeah, that's me.
Come on up.
Sorry, okay.
Let's do it real quick. Yes, sir.
I just, my name is Manuel Dulces. I just buy one property in 580 South Water, right? I wanna build some fence over there, in one section of my property, that would be access, to the canal, right, to the lake.
On the right away?
So, la propiedad de verdad que colinda donde los bomberos tienen el drainage, el pedacito de al lado del canal.
The sandpipe, the
Yes.
one that's at the sandpipe,
Yeah,
going to Pine Lake?
yes.
So he wants to fence it up.
Okay, so la
That access way?
Yo lo puedo sacar, disculpa, yo lo puedo sacar hasta en el survey mío dice que esa parte le corresponde a la propiedad mía. Yo puedo poner un cerco ahí y poner un acceso para ustedes. El problema es que ahí va mucha gente a tomar cerveza, hacen muchas cosas, se ponen a disparar.
I just based on what I heard, I get it. If he can fence and have way in and way out, I personally, and maybe we need to vote, I personally have no problem. Now, it's gotta be made clear that if it's not done correctly, and somebody's gotta get in there in a hurry, it's all coming down.
I don't know if you guys, they can give me like a lock or something, we can put it together, with my, the way you want it.
What's the address of 520?
580, the south. I got the survey here.
when you go to
Yeah, I know.
580 south
That's over by Pine Lake.
Yeah.
580 South Corner, C-O-R-A-L. I want to study the, how's that? What a Henry Tank property.
He was man. But I don't think it's that difficult,
Well,
as long as there's anything in and out, we can access it.
bueno, en la vida real, en el survey de él aparece el punto hasta allá, pero en realidad el punto del property line es diferente, es un istmo.
Pan American Land Development, we're gonna blame them from here on out for everything that they did wrong. No, but honestly, as long as we can get in there, that's what easement's for. As long as there's a gate and you can get in there and we get it clear.
My only
Yes, sir.
concern, here's my only concern. And a lot of the landowners, we just granted somebody access the other day. My only concern is if you're not here and we have to go in there because we don't have access and the emergency happened and you have 50 head of cattle, it's not our responsibility because the fire rescue has to happen.
Let me see
Here
your
we go. Five, what was it?
Yeah, that was part of the agreement.
No,
Double
but-
lock and we gotta get in there, we gotta get in
But
there.
it
We're
needs to
responsible.
be in black and white.
Yes.
It needs to be in black and white.
Is this
All
the
parties
same
know.
issue that's being always?
No. Okay, so
Maybe.
toda la propiedad alrededor de Pine Lake are private property. La de él happens to estar exactamente al lado de 30 o 40 pies de calle, podríamos decir, que es donde el bombero back up to
The sandpipe. It's on that hill. Everybody goes with their four-wheeler and parks and looks at it.
I have a bunch of people,
I get why he's doing it, I can't say that I blame him.
Pero Juan, él no quiere, o sea, él quiere cercarlo, pero por lo que él me explicó, él quiere poner una cerca en la línea de la propiedad y otra cerca que cubra ese espacio con un botón a la mesa. ¿Me entiendes? So, si algún día tú tienes que entrar, en la vida real no vas a tener acceso a la propiedad de él.
That's that little dike that goes, there's that sand pipe there.
That red sandpipe? The fire?
That's for the,
Fire department?
that's where the fire pulls water to fight fire. They would definitely give you some, the fire department would definitely give you some resistance on that, because if we did have a fire there, they would probably rip that whole thing down. You'd be a very frustrated landowner.
No, I don't care, with that, anyway, I go give you access.
Yes, that's it right there.
Yeah. Yeah, the fire department uses that.
So you draw up an agreement, guys. It's gotta be accessible, you can put 2 locks, 3 locks on there, everybody's got a lock. If you can't get in, run it over.
I don't think we're the issue. I think the fire department's gonna be the issue.
Yeah, they
but
have
it's not
a
their
source to fill up the tank.
Right.
Yeah, so that,
They're not gonna agree to that.
no, and,
I can make a double gay over there if you want, and I can make a big, you know.
Well, it's our right of way.
Well,
It's our right of way, so it's our
It's our easement.
It's our easement, it's not the right, the fire
So
department.
the fire department just put it there, they don't have an easement, they don't have anything, they just stuck it there?
I think we granted an easement to the fire department.
Well, if we did that, it's all.
Yeah,
They
It's all.
can't block it.
Exactly, we can't block it. If it's not ours, we can't block the rest, go ahead.
Yeah, we put two of them in, we put one in at Pine Lake, and then we did the other one down by pump station, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then the thing with Pine Lake is that there's a flashboard riser there, and that's part of where whenever we have to clean, that 30-foot section Flacco was talking about, that's part of the right-of-way access that we had too, and then that's why that pipe was put there to draft out.
So, but at the end of the day, if we gave easement to the fire department, he's got to do the fire department. We can't take the easement from him, we give it to him. I thought it was ours. And I'm saying, gate it up, make sure they have a lock on it. We have a lock, he's got a lock, and life goes on, but if that changes everything. Well, yeah, let's, they have a like on in fire chief, yeah, we can. Yeah, I'll talk to Robbie tomorrow and see what they say, what they remember. Let's get back to this.
Los que me la foto, la cosa que pueden hacer ahí. Tengo una casa ahí de casi toda la familia ahí.
Entiendo, yo entiendo perfectamente. Déjame hablar con
Ahora hay
él.
un palo que lo
Él es
tiene
un hombre
bloqueado.
razonable, a ver qué es lo que es bueno.
Hay un palo, o sea, para que se caiga una mata, o pusieron una mata y está bloqueado.
I'm gonna talk
Porque
to
yo
the fire
metía
chief
para allá atrás con la camioneta.
and see what he'll do.
No, un pino que se cayó ahí.
The problem is that we gave access to them, we can't take it back and take it.
No, ese palo estaba antes.
Yeah, something's
Vete ahí a Pine Lake.
All right, so we'll get back.
Y lo
El próximo meeting, por favor. El buen meeting. Okay, you got, dame el teléfono, y yo
No se puede entrar.
All right. All right, guys. You good?
I'm good.
Yeah, he's gonna give me his number. I'll talk to the fire chief. If they can come to an agreement, so be it. If not, then, you know, okay. All right, guys. So we're done here. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Santana's got some business, has some business taken. I'm sorry. Le quería joder el negocio con Juan.
Sí. Lo que siempre me da.
Black Lemon Soda.
Siempre me da. Los bomberos siempre con sí.
Los bomberos.
Hey, before you slam the hammer, can we get up and take on the reservoir, what's going on?
Yeah. Hold on. All right, let him do what he's got to do. The man keeps getting put on.
I want to give, we want to give this plaque to Officer Novales Dominguez on behalf of Central County for the good job that you're doing. Thank you.
All right, take a picture, take a picture.
¿Y dónde la cadena esa? Vamos.
¿Y dónde la cadena?
There you go. There you go.
Póngate la mano.
Abrázalo,
Yeah, cheese.
Ahora sí, ahora sí. There you go. We appreciate you. Thank you very much. Thank you. No, that's all good. Está haciendo algo.
Thank you.
Hacerlo tú, no voy a hacer algo tú. No voy a hacer ya. No te montas de caballo, sí.
O sea que trae un chequecito.
All right, go ahead. Y'all listen up.
This plaque is in appreciation to Mr. H.L. Bennett, in appreciation for his job and dedication for Central County Water Control District. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. Thank you. Great job, Mr.
It's been that way for a long time. Are you sure? I'm gonna verify and call you tomorrow. Okay.
So, Ms. Black, I got appreciation for the young boy,
Hold on.
of the hard work and dedication that he does for Central County Border Control people. The young boy. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Good job. All of you around.
Mírala, mírala.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. All right, yeah.
Mire, Santana ganó la difícil.
Go ahead, go ahead, Santana.
So let me,
All right, let's,
I'll talk about the reservoir.
yes.
So, before each meeting, kind of to prepare for the meeting, I actually spoke on, today's Wednesday, maybe Monday, to the environmental consultant that we hired. So he did a flyover, and his position, which is good, because he's representing us, is those wetland areas are revegetating naturally. So he's got a meeting scheduled, I think, in 2 weeks with the Water Management District, because what our end game here is to do two things in order to reopen the reservoir. Number one is to convince the Water Management District that we don't have to spend money to buy mitigation, and we don't have to spend money to plant wetland plants, because they're both very expensive. We want it, this has been closed since August. We've had some good rains, and so our hope was it was going to start all of those impacted wetland areas that they cited us for, that they were revegetating naturally. So most of them are. He said some of them, where some of the larger trails are, there's going to need to be a little bit of earthwork to kind of level out the area. So objective one, tell the district, we don't have to do mitigation, we don't have to do plantings, let it revegetate naturally. Objective number two is to convince them that all we need to do is put up some signs, and some of the trails that are going through the middle of these wetland areas, we're gonna have to block off those trails. Maybe putting up, I don't know what would be, we put up a berm, they're just gonna go over it, but something to regrade those areas, and even maybe create some other trails through upland areas, because the idea is that the district's not gonna allow us, if we open up the reservoir and people go right back into those wetland areas, you can only ask, forgiveness so often.
This is the second
So, yeah, this is the second time. So that's the plan. So hopefully by the next meeting, we'll get some feedback from the district as to if they're gonna accept our proposal, which is let it revegetate naturally. The district has to send a person back out to the reservoir to look at the wetlands and see how they have progressed since August. Again, it's been fairly wet, so it should be pretty good. Again, there are some depressional areas.
Sure.
That might, again, I'm no biologist, but might need to be leveled out. That, I think, is not gonna be hard to do. A hard sell
We can do that easy.
is gonna be, what are we gonna need to do to keep people from going back into the wetland areas? Is it enough to put up signs?
We tried that one already.
Yeah, do we have to put up fencing? Do we have to put up some physical barriers to get into those wetland areas? What will the district accept?
Is there any grants that we can chase? And they can maybe help us get some grants to fence that off? At the end of the day, if a lot of people here know, a lot of people don't, we've already been there with the signs once. They agreed to it, they're not gonna agree to it again. I mean, we're gonna push it. I'm all for doing it, but they're not gonna agree to it again, because they ran over them, shot them, and destroyed them.
So John, and people that ride four-wheelers and love the outdoors.
And if you guys have ideas about what you think will work, please let me know.
This is what's gonna have to happen, because pretty much Southland Water Management can't tell us to shut it down. What they'll impose is fines.
Oh, yeah.
to make you shut it down. So what we're gonna have to really do is, and I'm saying this very seriously, if we get this by the skin of our teeth, we're gonna have to implement something. And if it's not taken care of, because if you do the math, less than 2% of the key holders, we have less than 2% of the key holders that ride out there. Well, most of the key holders really enjoy it, right? Have no problem, I think it's a great thing, but 2%. For us to get in the whirlwind of trouble, we have to take care of, obviously the honor system doesn't work, right? But we have to educate ourselves and who we take in there. And we have to police as much as possible because Central County can't bear this burden with all the other stuff that we have to do. So again, for the 2%, and hopefully it's more, we have to take care of that thing because if it's not, we're gonna have to completely close that thing down. And I don't think anybody wants that. I think that's not the thing to do, but again, we're going to have to, if people getting out of control and going in areas they have no business, we're going to have to, hey man, that can't happen. I mean, it'll be sad because it'll take one. You know, so I don't know how many damn signs we can put up. I don't think that's the answer. To be honest, the signs is not the answer, but I wish we could be more proactive and teach our community and our kids and our grandkids, hey man, we took care of something. We actually know how to take care of something. Because if not, man, that's probably the only thing. That's probably the only place in South Florida that somebody has that, right? In their backyard, John?
Yeah, most of them have been closed down. You know better than I do.
Well, I know, I've heard that the district is working, they're actually trying to open one somewhere off of 20 Mile Bend and over in the Naples area. They've been working closely with the Everglades and stuff like that to allow them to have that. So somewhere along the line, it's got to be somebody in the district that would work for us the same way.
Wherever they're allowing it to happen, you know, so there's federal and state laws, you can't trash wetlands. I don't, West Coast, East Coast.
Well, no, that's not always true. I worked on a farm where we just took out a huge wetland.
That's right.
That was approved in about 3 days.
And I can go
So,
I
I mean,
and drive 90 miles an hour, and as long as Dominguez doesn't catch me, I'm
Yeah.
good. But
Right.
when you get caught.
No. Permit, about water main. Took a whole 4 days to get it approved.
Well, I worked there for 14 years.
Well, yeah, I guess it's who you know, but it's the truth.
But without any mitigation, without you just, they said, go ahead. That's a new one on me.
I didn't believe they did either, but they did.
There's gotta be a reason. There's a reason it's not considered what this is. I'm gonna tell you, I don't know if you realize or not, but we've been staring down the barrel of about $200,000 bill, and we're not done here yet. You know what's gonna happen if we have to pay $200,000 to do the replant and all that? We gotta raise taxes. People are gonna be crying bloody murder. So, and I will tell you, the reality of this, a lot of people don't wanna say it, but I'm gonna say it. 300 acres or 400 acres of uplands is all we're ever gonna get back. So forget about such.
So here's
There's your key right there though, man. We ain't gotta take care of roads no more, now you can do the reservoir.
Well, here's another.
I'm not against, first of all, I'm not against the reservoir. I just can't look people in the face and say, we allowed them to burn us because we wouldn't listen. Listen, we got burned once before. This is the second time we've been here. When I was here last time, Carson Turner flew the Sierra Club on the reservoir. They stirred up a stink. They were here, and I kept asking everybody what happened. People don't, I'm gonna say in a public meeting, I don't care. Rock, that they talk so bad about, is the one that smoothed that one over and got us a stay of execution. The lady that was in charge of that place is gone. The new bunch is going by the rules. So, I say we need to get money to fence off the wetlands and ride in the uplands. We gotta find some grants somewhere, somehow, someone that'll get us money, and then everybody's happy, ride. I got a four-wheeler, my four-wheeler hadn't moved either, but, I mean.
But I think the most important thing is that we have to come as a community, either we're gonna enjoy it recreational and take care of it so we don't get in trouble, so we can keep it open, or it might not be us, it might be another board saying, you know what, we probably need to privatize it, let them take the liability if at all possible, and I don't know how the community would go from there, but I'm just saying, if we can't take care of it, it's a real shame if we can't take care of it.
Do we have,
It's my opinion, 'cause I think it's a beautiful resource.
We have people going in there now, residents, and horses. They're enjoying the reservoir and horses.
Yes, but I'm just saying, there's a lot of people that have expensive bikes that they purchase and they've had it, and nobody can go out there because it's.
Can we,
Well, if I purchase dynamite, because they let me blow it up and close to me, and all of a sudden now the law stops me,
Deputy, can you check this guy's house? He's got diamonds.
I mean, they purchased something that shouldn't, the person we shouldn't have been doing. The point is, where do we go from here?
When you're riding on TV,
Yes.
it's fun to go into the mud flap.
Hell yeah, it's going
If you're riding a horse, it's not fun to go into the mud
Well, and I just want to bring the point that some presidents are enjoying the rights of those.
And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. The problem is when they start eating in the wetlands, somebody gonna get in trouble. Just wait,
can
it's
we,
coming.
authorize like a park ranger?
Sure.
We can have like a park, instead of, you know how we have security? We can have a park ranger, because we pay for security.
The LaBelle House.
Nah.
You realize what that's gonna cost?
Look at what it's costing us now compared to what we could have prevented
It ain't costing us nothing right now.
because it's closed.
Right.
But we're looking into opening it.
Yeah, what were we spending on security? 30 grand a year? Yeah, you won't get no park rangers.
But there you go. I mean, security was at the gate.
Huh?
When you do something like that, security was only at the gate. If you
No, we gotta do
something-
something different. Listen, guys, you can't do the same thing over and over and expect a different result. We know that.
Because I reached out to other entities to see what they do for their parks,
Right.
because some of their parks are not gated, like
Right.
Clubhouse. So I asked them, what system do you guys have in place? They said, well, we have certified park rangers. You know, they know about the environment, how the environment should look, you know, stuff like that for eco-friendliness, as well as they are a security officer, you know, so they're gonna do what they have to do within their bounds of their park.
That's a good
So
idea.
that was something I wanted to, you know, implement, because if we do invest all this money into reopening it, we don't want, you know, that bad apple to tear down a fence and go in there, you know, and not have paperwork proving it. You know, we have our park ranger system, if that's the way, you know, we're looking into, our park rangers say, well, board, here's a report, you know, so you can give to the district of what exactly happened, or, you know, they can contact the sheriff's office and move on from there. That's something I've been looking into.
So that may be where we go. It's a good idea. We hire somebody to patrol it. Problem is, how many hours a day can we patrol it?
Well, you can put a Domingo out there instead of out here taking a four-wheeler off the road.
Yeah, well. First thing we gotta do is we gotta get through all this. This guy, the consultant firm we gotta get through all this. We're not done yet. We're not out of the woods. We get all this squared away, we agree on it, maybe that's what we present to them. All right, well, give us another chance, we'll put up some signs and we'll have somebody out to patrol it. And see if they go for it. And we'll go from there. But we're waiting. So,
John, does NRCS, y'all can't get anything through NRCS, can you? Like even like the invasives and stuff, so let's say that they get to keep the 300 acres, all the coconut grass that's going over into your pine heads and stuff right here on the edge of the canal bank. Can Central County ask for anything from NRCS to take care, like start doing stuff with invasives, Melaleucas? Because Central County does have, within the reservoir, don't they have something that they're bound by that they have to take care of, like Melaleucas or anything? No?
No, this was permitted so long ago.
Right, yeah, 'cause
Like you can find citrus groves, they've got reservoir, they put all the wetlands in the reservoir.
Right.
They would and dump the water and kill it, because they were permitted in the 70s and 80s like this place.
Right.
Modern permits require monitoring, maintenance, exotic removal. But yeah, I don't know if NRCS has grant programs. I don't, you know, remember too, the tribe gets, whenever the tribe deals with any federal agency, they get top status.
Right.
Because they're a tribe, we're just,
Yeah, because I know even just any citizen can get certain help from NRCS if they want to do like greenhouses on their properties and stuff. So I was wondering maybe, you know, Central County being a bigger entity, they could probably, because I know NRCS does help for like pepper trees for the tribe. And it's to eradicate either the landowner
they do it
does.
themselves, they give you money.
Well, either the tribe does it themselves, they're gonna have to get a contractor, or like, let's say your pasture owners, NRCS, I believe, pays them to do the work on their own property. I mean, maybe it's an avenue, same thing, just like the credits and stuff. I don't know if there's a way Central County could look into the mitigation credits.
Yeah, you guys never talked about that.
Yeah, 'cause that's big.
Talk about, you know, you've talked about a lot of ideas to make money, but they're all like, you know, small, you know, lease this to this guy. You need to do a mitigation bank in that reservoir.
What are we waiting on?
Let's try it out.
But, you can do a mitigation bank, you gotta put a conservation easement over all the wetlands. So you won't be able to spit in it.
We're not gonna be able to use it anyway.
In return, over the years, you make millions.
License and
What is that?
So Henry County already, you can do your research. Look up the big Southwest Mitigation Bank and the Corkscrew Mitigation Bank. They're both in Hendry County. They both have grossed $20–30 million each.
That's the answer to all our problems.
And they're both close to close. Big Cypress Mitigation Bank and Corkscrew Mitigation Bank.
Would the residents still be able to use the upland part, or would that be completely?
They'd be able to use most of the upland park, but when you do a bank, you're gonna have an upland buffer around the wetlands, but that's not gonna take all of it.
Which one, yellow?
It'll take some
Big
of it.
Cypress mitigation thing and Corks.
So again, let's get through this process and see what we're gonna do.
They both have websites, they're both located in Hendry County, and they sell credits to the West Coast, all the developers in the West Coast. Very successful.
All right.
right there.
We need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion.
See you.